I fear I may have gone a little bit too early with my tomatoes, although the sun is shining and days are certainly much brighter now and we're getting a lot more daylight hours. There's still quite a heavy frost on the ground, so I'm a little bit worried that these are too developed already. But anyway, I'm going to start today by trying to get these into some bigger pots and then put them in the polytunnel and see how they get on. Hopefully they stay alive. I've been really pleased with how well these have grown. I've got some good tomatoes in there, and this side there's the peppers just beginning to come through. But as I say, I'm a little bit worried for the fact they've grown so quickly, because I don't really have anywhere else to keep them now indoors, so they're going to have to stay down here in the polytunnel. But I'm just hoping they don't get got by the frost. So got a couple of bigger pots, and I'm going to take one of these if I can. I might need something to prod those out. Just give me a second. A pair of old scissors should do. Let's start by making a little hole in the pot here. And I'm going to take one of these where I've got 2 seeds. So I would have tried to thin these out, but I haven't got a huge number of these, so that's gone straight in the pot, which is good. Just going to separate those. They're quite sturdy already, but those two are almost conjoined. There we go. And then the key thing here is that I want to plant this as deep down in the pot as possible, because it will grow fresh roots from the stem. Good, and then that'll have a drop of water. And as I say, I'll store that in the polytunnel, and hopefully, not too hopeful, but the frost doesn't get it and kill it, because I'll be very disappointed, because this is the first year I've had, well, certainly this early on, any good success with tomatoes. I think last year I didn't get them to grow until nearer to, well, I think June they started sprouting, so let's see how this goes. And how's everyone else's tomatoes going? Am I just being a bit paranoid, or are these actually too early? They might be alright. It'd be good to know. Good to get people's opinions on whether these are too early or whether they're just the right time. We did have some really strong winds this week, and unfortunately I've noticed that where I had the Brussels sprouts and the leeks set up here on this bit of guttering, they've fallen down right in the corner here, and I think I've lost them all. Yes, I have. Look at that, an absolute disaster. Can't believe it, and I was really looking forward to those leeks. They have fallen into a seed tray. But look at this. So disappointing. Well, I think that one's salvageable. There are a few tiny leeks in here. These are going to need emergency transplanting into something. But look, lost them. Can't believe it. Ah, dear. Oh well, you win some, you lose some. But that's disappointing. So these are going to have to go into something, because they can't just stay like this. So I'm going to have to put these into bigger pots, or into pots, and then see what happens. As I say, I think that one will be fine. That one will spring back and actually looks quite good. And the leeks, I think they'll be alright. They're a bit small. I thought they were bigger than this. But lesson learnt, don't hang things up on that. Actually, I better take down my kale as well, because I don't want to lose that. But yeah, the winds must have buffeted this, and then they've knocked that, and everything's come down, so not good news. And with that unfortunate news, the show must go on, and as I hinted at last week, I want to get this bed ready this week, because the potatoes will need to go in here in probably the next 2 weeks. So I'm going to start by clearing out what's already in here. I was going to chop this log up, but I think I'm just going to throw it back on the compost heap behind the polytunnel, and then try and flatten it down a bit, and then think about getting some cardboard on there, getting a first layer of something on there, and then hopefully it'll be ready. First up, I'm going to need to get some cardboard, and this shed has become so full of old rubbish. I'm going to need this netting soon for the brassicas, but let's put that to one side for now. And then hopefully in here, move these garden canes. And another one. So I've got that bit of cardboard, but I think that's a bit small, so see if I can grab a different bit. This is the piece I really want. Right, good, let's go and get this in place. Not sure if this piece is going to be too big or too small, but well, it's not going to be wide enough. But let's see if we can get it to fit. Gonna have to cut that little bit off the end. Find my scissors. Oh, they're in my pocket. There we go. The main reason for doing this is it provides a weed barrier, so hopefully it will suppress the weeds. Certainly stop them from growing through this year. It's worked really well in the other beds, so hoping for the same. Right, just need a couple more bits to go on that end. It's a bit like a game of Tetris this, you've got to fill in all the little gaps. Right, I might just have some smaller bits to go there and there. Please, it should go just fine there, and then this piece covers up that last bit there. Great, now hopefully that will stop any weeds from sprouting in the near future anyway. Last weekend I was able to do the first cut of my grass at home, so I've brought a snail with me as well, which isn't good, but I've brought all of my that didn't work very well, let's get rid of that. I brought my grass clippings with me, so these are going to go in as a first layer on here. Hopefully they will help flatten it down a bit. I thought there might be a bit more than that, but that'll have to do as a start. Let me just spread some of this out. If anything, it will weight down the cardboard, which is what we want. I'm also just going to add in here some of this wood chip to level it off, because well, clearly my grass wasn't enough. Until you have to start filling a raised bed, you don't realise how much stuff it takes. Here comes the fun part. We can start filling this up with some compost. This is going to take quite a few bags, I think. Right, there's 200 litres of manure and compost gone in here, so let's see if we can spread that out a bit to get at least a layer, enough of a layer to cover the bed. And I'm not quite sure we're going to make it. I mean, that will hopefully be enough for the potatoes to initially sit on, and then I can top them up slowly as the year goes on. I'm not quite sure this is going to be enough. Probably could do with a couple more bags. That's all I've got for today, so it's going to have to do for now. It's not done too bad. Okay, that's pretty good. I'm happy with that for now. So I'll leave that to sit for a bit, where I might try and get a couple more bags of compost during the week to fill those gaps. But this is looking good, much better than it looked before. It's going to be ready for planting in, and hopefully there'll be an abundance of potatoes in there before long. Let's talk about this week's seed of the week. So I do a weekly update on the seeds that I'm growing, or the seeds I'm going to be growing. And this week I've chosen cucumber melons. Now I'm really interested to find out what these taste like, but they are, well, I think they're supposed to be a mix between cucumbers and melons, hence the name, but these can be sown in April through to May, and they're a warm weather crop, so I think they need to be kept in the polytunnel or probably kept under some grow lights to initially get them started and then bring them down here on the plot. But I'm really interested, as I say, to find out what these taste. Well, actually they're a cross between tastes like cucumber with a hint of lime, so not melon, a bit of lime in there. I think they'll be really interesting. If you tried cucumber melons and you had any success, then let me know, and if you're going to grow along with me, then let me know how you get on with your seeds. Right, that was just a short update from me today. Priority had been to get that bed done, get some compost in there, which has been successful, so I'm going to go back to potting on these tomatoes now. I hope you all have a good week and a good Easter, and I will catch you again next week. Take care of yourselves.